We are going to look at how you as a public relations practitioner can issue a press statement, how to write a press statement. Now, all over the world, nothing is done more poorly in public relations than the writing of the press statement. Most of us public relations practitioners, we don't know how to write a press statement. And this leads to the editors that receive our press statements to be very disappointed in the way we write the press statements, and this is basically very harmful when it comes to press relations. So a good press statement should tell the story as the journalist would have written it given the same information. So basically, a press statement is a story that you as a public relations practitioner writes and you hand it over to a journalist. It should not begin. Now, oftentimes we make a lot of mistakes as public relations practitioners when we are starting a press statement. We start with, "We are proud to announce." Don't start your press statement like that. Or sometimes we praise ourselves, or sometimes we put things like "you." Those are not needed when you are issuing a press statement. Now, the easiest way to learn how to write a news release or a press statement is to read a newspaper or listen to news on radio. So when you listen to news and you read a newspaper, in the same way that the news is written, that is exactly the same way that you should write your press statement. So press statements should be composed in the style used by journalists, which is quite different from essay writing, because you are going to write on the back of the journalist. You are going to use a radio station. You are going to use a newspaper to disseminate your information using a press statement. And therefore, you should be in conformity with the way the stories are written by journalists and not any other way. So this is how you should write your press statement. And a press statement has its own formatting. The first one, a press statement should have the contact information, or if you have the headed paper, you need to put your press statement on the headed paper. Now, after the headed paper, each and every press statement must contain what we call "for immediate release." For immediate release, we are basically telling the journalists that this information that you have given them, they can use it there and then. If you don't want them to use it, then you can use another term which is called embargoed until a certain time when you want them to use your press statement. So it should have "for immediate release" or embargoed. Now, each and every statement must have the headline. Just like each and every story that you're going to read in the newspaper, you will find the headline. So even in your press statement, do not forget to put the headline. The headline must be there so that it guides the journalists that are going to use your press statement. And then there's also what we call the deadline. Now the deadline, this is where before you start your paragraph, you need to provide the city or the district where the press statement is coming from and the date, so that the journalist will be able to know this press statement is coming from Mafinga district or this press statement is coming from Chirundu district. And thereafter, you put the date. So the date is next that you will put when you are writing your press statement. And thereafter, that's when now you start your main body. Now, in your main body, you are supposed to tell your story. And basically, a press statement contains 1 up to 3 paragraphs. Please do not issue a press statement that has 4 pages. A press statement only contains 1 single page. A press statement is written on a single page. And in an ideal situation, just a paragraph will actually do, because you are telling a story in the same way that a journalist tells his or her own story. So for the journalists, they use the five W's and 1 H. So even you, as a PR practitioner, when you're issuing a press statement, you use the 5 W's and 1 H in issuing your press statement. So after you issue a press statement, the next is what we call the boilerplate. The boilerplate is something that will tell about you as a public relations practitioner who has issued this press statement. So number 1, you need to sign on your press statement. And thereafter, you also need to add your full names. And thereafter, you need to put your contact number, your mobile number, and thereafter you add in perhaps for additional information or your email, so that should the journalists want to get more information from you, they don't need to struggle. You have provided the information to them, and then they'll be able to contact you. So in conclusion, what we need to emphasize on is that a press statement has its own formatting. A press statement has its own formatting. Number two, a press statement should be written on a single page, and ideally 1 to 3 paragraphs, and not 4 pages or 10 pages. Then that is not a press statement. And then a press statement must be signed by the public relations practitioner. Okay, that's it for now. So please don't forget to like our video and subscribe. So see you next time.